Friends, term cover के केस में जो previous videos में you would have seen that we're talking about what term cover is, how can it be computed. But do you know term cover's effectiveness can be massively enhanced by using some specific riders which can only be taken while you are taking the term cover. So उनके बारे में information की awareness पहले रहे तो better है so that you are able to take right decisions. So here in this video we will talk about the flavors of riders which are available for you while taking a term cover. These broadly come under two categories. One is under critical illness category, second under the personal accident and disability categories. We'll cover all the flavors in this video. Before that, a quick introduction.
My name is CA Puneet Agarwal. I'm the founder of Banyan FA LLP, where we are one-stop shop for all finance needs of people. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube, where we release weekly videos related to personal finance.
So, let's talk about the first category of riders available. This falls under the definition of critical illness. Now, what is a critical illness? Actually, if you just forget about anything, critical illness का literal meaning है critical है. इस illness का impact अगर किसी person की life में आता है, it actually significantly deteriorates the lifestyle of a person, and it may also be possible that the person may not be alive for long. That's why the term critical illness comes in. Now, if we see that the way term cover works, death has to happen. If a person is alive, term cover will not pay that money. But what if someone goes through a critical illness situation, example a cancer, painful situation, but survives in the end? Very, very happy moments. But would term cover pay for it? No, because simple situation, term cover would say the person did not die, so why should I make the payment? This is where the critical illness riders kick in. But the definition is critical illness, and there are lots of terms and conditions in there. People at times wrongly assume that critical illness अगर just touch करती हुई भी निकल गई इंसान को तो payment मिल जाता है. If we go into detail into the terms of the critical illness, effectively they are all very, very severe in nature, which when impacts a person will be given. Example, cancer is covered, but not in many cases I've read it's not early stage cancer. It's actually like literally the most severe stages of cancer. Kidney failures, but what this is irreversible failure of both the kidneys. So even let's say heart की conditions की बात करें, what the most of the critical illness policies would say that अगर किसी की open heart surgery हुई है, पूरा chest cavity को काट के heart को physically surgery हुई, then they pay the whole amount. But आज की date में most of the surgeries happen through angioplasty, where it's relatively less invasive. तो उसमें पूरा amount मिलता ही नहीं है, बहुत छोटा सा amount मिलता है. So effectively the idea is, and I see it's a bit fair, idea is that if it happens, the person would be massively impacted, right? So however, this type of cover is relatively very expensive compared to term covers. Our computation tells us that roughly it is 2 to 4 times more expensive than term cover. Example, अगर आप 4 करोड़ का term cover का जो premium का cost है, उतने ही premium में most likely 1.5 करोड़ से ज़्यादा critical illness का cover नहीं आएगा. You could, as this particular cover, you could take it either independently standalone, but we have not yet been able to find really good standalone covers which could provide big coverages. Most of them will be small amounts, and the premiums also perhaps go up over a period of time. They go up just like a health cover. But the benefit of taking it as a rider along with term cover tends to be that there are amounts as high as up to 1.5 crores which we have seen are available for people. And the premiums, we haven't yet seen the premiums going up with time. They have been relatively static. There is no specific or additional health checkup requirement. जो term cover के साथ जो checkup होता है उसी के साथ critical illness का भी काम हो जाता है. So we find it very convenient in that case. The type of flavors of these riders which are available is that if a critical illness is diagnosed, they will pay a lump sum amount, and once that lump sum amount is paid, the critical illness rider will finish, but the term cover will still continue to be effective in case the death subsequently happens. Second, the type of flavors are that if critical illness is diagnosed, no payment would be made, but the future premiums will be waived off. I find it a little bit less effective because they will only waive off the premiums of your insurance. There wouldn't be any actually cash inflow which would happen for the family. Watch out also for a category of rider which is called accelerated critical illness rider. The word is accelerated over there. In that case, people often don't read the fine prints. What it says is that if your term cover is 5 crores and you have taken a 1 crore critical illness cover, and if a critical illness is diagnosed and it meets the terms and conditions, they will pay you 1 crore, but your term cover will reduce by 1 crore. So in other words, that critical illness rider amount is actually a subset of your term cover. So watch out for that particular part as well. So that is like the flavors of critical illness riders. The next type of riders which are falling under the category of accidental death or disability related points. What are your options? Effectively, what these types of rider cover? Term cover, again coming back term versus this. Term cover covers all kind of scenarios of risk which would get a person, let's say, under which a person would die. But accident related deaths only cover the situations where the death happens owing to an accident. Now, if you bolt on a rider which is an accidental death related rider and the death happens on account of accident, तो आपको जितना अमाउंट का राइडर ले रखा है उतना ओवर एंड अबव टर्म कवर के मिल जाता है. रिमेंबर, टर्म कवर भी पे करेगा इस सिचुएशन बिकॉज डेथ हैपेंड, बट एक्सीडेंटल राइडर विल पे अ लिटिल बिट मोर इन दिस केस. ठीक है. इन एडिशन देयर इज सबसेट ऑफ दिस पार्ट व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एक्सीडेंटल डेथ एंड डिसेबिलिटी राइडर. तो डिसेबिलिटी की इनमें मल्टीपल फ्लेवर्स दे रखे हैं. वन इज इफ owing to an accident someone goes through a permanent disability that is total in nature, they waive off the future premiums. That's all what happens here. Only premiums are waived off. Remember, death has not happened in this event. Only premiums get waived off. But another flavor is that a permanent disability has happened and that disability is total in nature. Total in nature का example क्या हुआ? Both limbs are gone, for example, right? In such case, the death did not happen, but a person got completely disabled and that was total in nature. In that case, the amount of cover would be paid. But the disability could also be partial in nature. For example, one limb got impaired, both hearing loss went away, one finger was chopped off. So in this circumstance, depending upon the intensity, कितना ज़्यादा severe है, उतना amount of payment मिल जाता है. So example, I was reading one policy, it says 75% would be paid if the hearing loss is gone, or if only one finger is gone off, they will pay only 10%. Other subset is that total disability हुई है, but temporary है. Example, accident के चक्कर में the person got completely crushed and has been advised, let's say, till such time recovery doesn't happen, complete bed rest. The person can even get up from the bed. In that situation, there is some kind of an income which is given to the person, which is a percentage of the sum assured, and it is given for a limited period, let's say 52 weeks, and after that it stops. So the idea is that the person did not die, the disability happened completely, but he will recover in future, so let's give some money. I find these kind of riders relatively useful in personal finance. Our view is not all insurers have great personal accident riders, so you have to assess each rider available as a part of term cover. It may also be beneficial to take this rider independently rather than as a part of term cover. There are certain really great independent standalone personal accident and disability covers available. So you would have realized that these two type of riders and its different flavors massively impact or enhance the coverage situations along with term cover. But there's a big but. Please do not reduce your term cover to fit in your budget these riders. Example, let's say your requirement was to take a 4 crores cover and let's say the premium was coming out to be 40,000 and your budget was, let's say, 45,000 in total, and you realize that I have to take a rider which will be costing me 10,000 rupees, which will increase your premium beyond your budget, and then you think अब मैं term cover थोड़ा कम कर देता हूँ because I need to fit them. Don't do that, because term cover actually covers all situations of death and you should not reduce it just because you need to fit other riders in there. So what do you think? Please do leave your comments in the section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.